Grammy Award-winning violinist Joshua Bell returns to the San Francisco Symphony. Experience the power, precision, and passion of one of the world's great violinists. Hear Joshua Bell in Brahms' famed Violin Concerto with the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. That's Joshua Bell, March 1st at the San Francisco Symphony. Tickets at sfsymphony.org.
Welcome to the Going to Killing City podcast, a historical look at murder in Kansas City. Here are your hosts, Jamie Green and Alex Greenwood.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy October. You know, people, if you do not know Alex Greenwood, you know how Andy Williams sings, "It's the most wonderful time of the year." For Alex Greenwood, that is not Christmas, my friends. It is the Halloween season. And Alex, you're in your happy place.
Yes, the spooky season is, to me, but think about it this way, even if you're not a Halloween person, October 1 is kind of the gateway into the whole holiday season, if you think about it. If you, at the very least, the weather is going to get a little cooler around here, who knows, but it's going to turn into fall we're going to get like a whole 10 days of fall weather between now and December. It's going to be great. But you just go right in for me, it's like, oh, okay, lead up to Halloween, lead up to Thanksgiving, lead up to Christmas, lead up to New Year's. I mean, think about it. It is the most wonderful time of the year.
I like Halloween a lot. I'm just not as nutty about it as you are. So it was my father's birthday, so it always has a special place.
Well, there is that. That's even better. That's the birthday of one of my other close friends' dad, who we lost in January, the same day I lost my dad. Strangely enough, the thing is, if you have looked at our social, by the way, on Facebook, there's a picture and maybe a video. I'm not sure, of my front yard. Which, if you're at all interested, go to our Facebook page and check that out.
That's great. So we got a lot to get through.
Yeah, I'll quit gabbing. I apologize.
We just became popular all of a sudden, so
I know
it's new for us. We're not.
It's yeah.
So first and foremost, obviously we know that this episode drops on October 15th. And if you're listening to this either on October 15th or during the day on October 16th,
right,
we'd love for you to be a part of our live event. And this is Alex's baby. I, of course, am the wuss that will be in mission control, but this is Alex's baby. So Alex, give the people the quick elevator speech about what all we're doing and why we're doing it.
Hey, we did the walking tour in June. Was it June? I believe we did the walking tour of KC, and we walked right up to, because we're going to have drinks at the Hotel Savoy, which is arguably the oldest functioning hotel in town. And it does have a reputation, particularly on the 5th floor, of being haunted. And if you don't believe me, and we don't have time to go through it all today, go back to Spookin' and Slayin', those 2 episodes at the Savoy, 2 episodes, Slayin' and Spookin' at the Savoy, 2 episodes of this show. I'll try to remember to put it in the show notes, but if I don't worry about it. Just go to the website at killingcitypod.com and you can find it. And Jamie masterfully lays out what happened that may or may not be spooky. So anyway, we appeared there. The crowd's with us. There's how many people? 20 people with us.
It's packed. It was crazy.
It was. And then then who said it? Somebody suggested that, well, maybe you guys should spend the night in there, or who did that? Was that you? Or
no, it was not me.
and I said, I'm up, and then Jamie, you just said, of course,
I'm out. No
I'm not going to. God, you chicken heart. Anyway, the Ghost and Mr. Chicken.
Yeah.
Good Don Knotts film, The Ghost and Mr. Cocktail. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to spend the night. I called and talked to, and our friends there. The marketing team's been very good to us all the way around. And I chatted with Madison there, and I told her what was up, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you guys." Okay. And I said, any chance I could get that room? She's like, basically book me in the haunted room, 505. Yep. And I will be there on the night, Thursday, the 16th. We're going to do a live stream 7 to 8-ish. We have several guests that are already booked. We've got a couple of recorded spots. One moment, I'm going to cough. We have several recorded spots we're going to drop in there too. But there's a couple things you need to know, and then I'll move on, and I'll put all these instructions in our new Substack page and on our social. There will be a link. You have to click an online link to get into the studio online where we'll be doing the live stream. If you don't, it's not through YouTube and anything like that. It's through something called Riverside. You'll get a link, click it. Jamie's used it with me before. It's pretty easy, right, Jamie?
Oh yeah, we did the Christmas episode with the Eddie Adams.
That's right. Yeah. And you just click it and you come in, and here's the deal. There'll be ways to comment for you, like to type in comments. We'll do our best to keep track of those. It's going to be a pretty packed live stream, but what's going to happen is I'll show you around the room a little bit. I'll tell you my plans for the evening, which do include, besides our live stream, me checking back in as I perform certain ghost hunter tasks with certain ghost hunting equipment that I have purchased specifically for this event. And we'll do that. And I guarantee I will check in around midnight and probably 3-ish the following morning. Don't worry if you're not staying up. These will be recorded, and Jamie will drop these into a finished episode that'll we'll polish that up. So this costs you nothing to join us, but this is an example of, if I may, our new Speakeasy Club. And I just wanted you to see that this is the kind of content, though, that in future we probably will always have. I'll just say this: we'll always have free stuff. We'll always have free episodes, that kind of thing. But we do want to add in some stuff exclusively for folks who, throw a little money in the kitty for us to help us keep the lights on. And there's going to be a link in the show notes to the Going to Killing City Insider Club, which gets you early access to podcasts, subscriber only bonus content, exclusive meetups. There's going to be all kinds of cool stuff. Jamie, do we have time for me to go through the tiers real quick, or do you want me to just?
You can do it.
All right. So we'll circle back around to the Savoy in a moment, but here are the two tiers. They're very basic. When I say basic, I don't mean like it's basic. I mean like this is the ground floor, the Black Hand tier, $39 a year. It's the entry point for true fans of Kansas City's shadowy past. What you're going to get: early access to episodes. That's between 48 to 72 hours before they hit the public feed. So right now you typically get an episode on around the 15th. We will do our level best to make sure you get it a couple of days ahead if you're on there. But look,
we're trying.
Please understand, we both have day jobs. Okay. But you get that subscriber only bonus content, uncut interviews, behind the scenes extras, mini audio essays. We've already had a couple of posts on the Substack where you can read up. I did something on the Kansas City Codex. Go look at it. It's free for now. Early access to the written features, as I mentioned, quarterly fan polls. You will be invited to tell us what you think. Help us shape the stories we cover. Okay. Or if you want to take it up a notch, there's the Speakeasy Club, which is 99 smackers a year. Your key to the hidden underworld of KC. No password required, no secret knock. Includes everything from the aforementioned Black Hand tier plus quarterly meetups. You will be invited first to quarterly meetups at KC distilleries or speakeasy style bars, and that first drink will be on us. Understand, when we do these, we've already talked to many distilleries in town. We already have some pretty good handshake agreements to do these, but they're always going to be limited by how many people can show up. If you are part of the Speakeasy Club, we're basically giving you a ticket and holding it until you say, I'm not coming. That's how this works. Speakeasy Club members, not Black Hand tier, but Speakeasy tier. Okay, so live podcast access. If we're going to do some live shows, if we were doing this live right now, we might put you into the studio with us and let you chat for a second or say hi. We're working on some annual Speakeasy gifts. Not going to say exactly what yet. Definitely thinking custom t-shirts, maybe some other little things. There's more on the website about that. And just understand, we're still feeling this out, but I think a t-shirt would be nice, at least for this first year. We're going to do some digital dead drops, surprise content drops, like mini mayhem minutes, rare archival finds, sneak previews. Jamie in particular digs up some really cool stuff from old newspapers, and we'll just do these dead drops. They'll just appear. If you're part of the deal, be in the feed that you're subscribed to, you'll see it. And that ain't going to anybody but you, folks. The people are on the Speakeasy Club $99 a year tier. You'll get a first look at access to some book projects we're thinking about with draft excerpts and early previews. And not to be forgotten, exclusive book perk. When we do finally put out a book, you'll get a discounted autographed personalized copy. And you'll get the founding member digital badge. And that's for folks who join before the end of the year, before December 31st, 2025. Your name can be listed, if you wish, on the website or in the podcast credits. Plus, you'll receive special digital and physical founder flair when we can. This isn't just a fan club. It's a community of people who love Kansas City, its history, and its strangest untold stories and unsolved mysteries, seasoned with a little gin, rye, or whatever's in your glass. Memberships are now open. Check the show notes for a link to check these out. You'll subscribe easily with a credit card through Substack on our Going to Killing City podcast page there. If you get in the weeds, if you're not sure what's going on with that, just email us at killingcitypod@gmail.com and we'll try to walk you through it. Not a big deal. So getting back to that, Savoy, haunted Savoy evening. If I survive this thing, it's going to be a miraculous thing. But just one thing I would like to add. Yes, I will be at the Savoy that night. Please don't, anybody's got any ideas about, try to give me a shivery or scare me or something. Just remember, it is a hotel. There are guests there besides me. Let's don't get anybody thrown out or arrested, So I can see it now. Some smart aleck out there is going, I'm going to knock on his door at 2 a.m, whatever. So that's what we got here, Jamie. What did I miss?
You got it great, and we're really looking forward to it, and we want people to be a part of it. Yes, we got some special guests that are mystery guests. You're going to dig all these guests that we got. I think this is going to be. We're actually working. We're actually working to provide amazing content. So. Well played, sir. You always do such a great job on the marketing side. I appreciate it.
Oh, you do a great job. You're the marketing guy, man. You get the sponsors. That's the division of labor. By the way, we will also do stuff for our members. We'll probably give you some behind the scenes talk, and we'll just explain exactly how the sausage is made to you at some point. And you'll hear the division of labor and how it started. And I just want to say one thing. I always go to great pains to say this because I need to be very clear. I'm just the first member of the Speakeasy Club, basically, because this was Jamie's concept, Jamie's idea. I was so thrilled that after 3 people said no, he finally got to me and asked me to be his co-host. And, at first I just said, look, I am so busy. I'll be your co-host, but I can't really be a producer. But it's such a labor of love. I'm enjoying being kind of a co-producer as well. But this is all on my friend Jamie, this whole concept. And I think it's really going well.
I appreciate that. Okay. So everybody get your calendar out, whether it's on, your phone or your desktop or whatever. We teased this twice, so we're going to just announce it. We have been asked by the authors that we're going to talk about in a second, a PR person, to be a part of this event. So this is going to be on Monday, November 3rd at 7 p.m. here in Kansas City at Rainy Day Books. That's in the Fairway Shops. It's 2706 West 53rd Street. Go to their website in the show notes. We put the direct link there. So this is what we've been talking about. So Eli Frankel is this author's name. The book is called Sisters in Death. And Sisters in Death is Frankel's 5-year research into an unexplored corner of the investigation of haunted LAPD until that case went cold. This is the Black Dahlia case, which is one of the most infamous cases. It's been covered a million different ways. It has never been solved. This poor woman, I'm not going to get into the gruesome details, but she was found slain in 1947. But here's the Kansas City twist and why we were so excited to have Eli be a part of this. One of the things, he did 5 years of research, and he actually decided, and with his research, that the person who committed this crime actually was from Kansas City.
Ooh.
And murdered at Kansas City and here years before. And the MO is very close to what happened to the Black Dahlia case at UMKC's campus. So we are going to be a part of this live event on Monday, November 3rd. If you can't make it, we would love to see you there, say hello to you. We get people are busy. If you can't make it, we're actually recording all of this. So this is going to be our November 15th episode. Next month's episode is our conversation with Mr. Frankel. And then also we will do our usual, our drink before and all that stuff. So in the show notes, check it out. We're really excited for this. It's going to be a good time.
I'm excited. And, Rainy Day Books, legendary in Kansas City for taking really great care to bring us incredibly good authors with great books. So come on out there and let's support Rainy Day Book as well.
All right, so that's it. So we're gonna delve in. This month's episode, the hint for Alex was a barrel of murder, and per usual, if you saw me on last night on Instagram, Alex, he sends me the laundry list, and it was so. Alex, tell the people what you came up with.
Well, again, our killer cocktail clue came from Jamie, who offered up the deliciously ominous phrase, "a barrel of murder." And you have to kind of say it like that. Now, around here, we take clues like that seriously. And a barrel, especially in Kansas City, could mean only one thing: whiskey. So I went straight to the source. J. Rieger and Company, by the way, who, by the way, hint, hint, on the Savoy night, somebody from J. Rieger will be joining us. So you're going to want to hear that. And created something that captures, I think, the mood of a smoky jazz club just before the plot turns deadly. So I didn't go crazy with the name. I just called it the Barrel of Murder. So here's how you make it. You get 2 ounces of J. Rieger Kansas City whiskey. You get half an ounce of Averna Amaro. Now, what is that? It's a dark Italian liqueur that adds kind of a bittersweet herbal note, a little like caramel and cola, the kind of depth that makes you kind of lean in closer to the drink. Then you get a 1/4 ounce of Demerara syrup. That's just made from raw sugar for a touch of smoky molasses sweetness. It kind of softens the edges of the drink without it getting all syrupy and too sweet. I don't like super sweet drinks. Anyway, 2 dashes of black walnut bitters, which bring obviously a kind of a nutty, earthy aroma. Think of the scent of an old oak bar after midnight, right? Then you got an orange peel expressed over the top to kind of release the oils, those bright oils that cut through the darkness, kind of a flash of light in the alley. So think of it that way. Now, if you're feeling super ambitious or a bit haunted, give the glass before you mix drink and pour it in there a tiny rinse of sherry. So you just pour a little in there and then you kind of move the glass and kind of let the rinse of the sherry get around. And I'll tell you why I like sherry, because, J. Rieger's famous for sherry cask whiskey. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely love that. So I thought, why not, right? Let's bring that out a little more. So Amontillado or Oloroso, if you have it, and it just talk to your favorite liquor store and see what they've got. Just print this out or whatever, write it down and take it to them and say, this is what I need. It ties the whole drink together with a whisper of nuttiness that nods to Rieger's, as I said, sherry cask finish. So stir everything over ice until well chilled. If you've used that sherry rinse, swirl it around your glass and toss the excess. It seems like such a shame, doesn't it? But
absolutely.
Then you strain the drink over one big cube, flame that orange peel. You can just get a lighter, and kind of the oils in the orange peel, particularly a fresher one, will kind of go. And it's kind of a nice theatrical flair, impresses people. So the result should be a kind of a smoky sweetness meets shadow. Dark walnut and citrus are going to play against the whiskey's soft vanilla and sherry undertones. I'll tell you, it's real smooth up front. But this is something I like. There's a slow burning finish that kind of keeps you guessing, kind of like Every Suspect in a Kansas City murder story. So a whisper of oak, a glint of orange fire, and the lingering suspicion that the barrel knew too much. That's the Barrel of Murder. Raise one if you dare.
It's excellent. I know we're very competitive on this podcast. And I believe we will continue to compete on our writing skills and our research skills and stuff. I'm just acquiescing. You just beat me like a drum with these. I mean, it's bad how much better your drinks are than mine. But
but you look, you're so kind, but you shoulder so much of the production burden. It's almost not fair there. So you see, it kind of works out. I have more time.
It's a yummy drink. It is. It's a lot of steps. People, pace yourself.
Sorry, yeah, it's a little complex. It's not opening a can.
That'll be during the live stream on for me anyway. So that's it. It's in the show. Great drink as always. You always knock it out of the park. So
thanks, sir.
That's it. So this is a long episode. So we're just gonna get started.
Grammy Award-winning violinist Joshua Bell returns to the San Francisco Symphony. Experience the power, precision, and passion of one of the world's great violinists. Hear Joshua Bell in Brahms' famed Violin Concerto with the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. That's Joshua Bell, March 1st at the San Francisco Symphony. Tickets at sfsymphony.org.
This one. So here we go. It's Halloween season again, and it's always the time where I think about what truly scares us. Halloween is obviously a fun, festive holiday, but there are dark undertones to it. For me, one of the things I find truly terrifying is the thought of a loved one or a dear friend just disappearing without a trace and how awful that would be. To not know would be painful, and to play through in your mind all the evil in the world and the possibility the worst thing has happened would probably be even worse. And unfortunately, for today's episode, we have an individual who sparked terror and heartbreak right here in Kansas City, and unfortunately got away with it for far too long. And there are still unsolved mysteries about this case to this very day.
Wow.
Okay. On April 30th, 1993, the internet was launched into the public domain. Alex and I are old enough to remember this, pre-internet stuff. So NPR's Neil Conan breathlessly reported, quote, "Imagine being able to communicate at will with 10 million people all over the world. Imagine having direct access to catalogs of hundreds of libraries, as well as the most up-to-date new business and weather reports. Imagine being able to get medical advice or gardening advice immediately from any number of experts. It's not a dream," Conan said. It's the internet. That would have been cool if that's what the internet would have done, as opposed to divide us as a culture, and put a lot of creeps out there. But that was what we thought the internet was going to. I remember we had AOL. Did you have AOL when it first came out?
Yeah, at one point, I think so. Yeah.
You'd have to dial it up and all. And Kelly and I were so excited when we first got AOL, and we were like, "Oh, we can have chats with anybody in the world." And every stupid chat room was a sex chat room. In fact, she had a French minor, so she's like, really great at speaking French. And there's one in French. We're like, "Oh, well, maybe it's something in French." I was like, "Nope, that's also sex." So great promise. Some things about the internet are great. What we're going to talk about today is not great, because the dream idea of the internet, what if that becomes a nightmare? What, instead of gaining knowledge, someone utilized that same World Wide Web to prey on victims? Yeah. Sadly, that's exactly what did happen to a number of women here in Kansas City. And the perpetrator was a Kansas Citian with a long rap sheet that somehow flew under the authorities' radar for far too long. And to this day, the fate of numerous women who have disappeared is still unknown. Kansas City is sadly home to the world's first documented online serial killer. And this story is going to leave you with chills. Okay. So, on Sunday, June 11th, 2000, you were here. Were you here yet by 2000?
No, I didn't move here until just the very end of 2005.
This is literally, we had just moved back from Phoenix like 3 weeks ago. So this case, I remember this case really well. The Kansas City Star asked on page 1 above the fold, quote, "Who is John E. Robinson Sr.?" They noted that he was an Eagle Scout and a businessman, but also a habitual swindler, a quote-unquote slave master, puke. More on that in a minute. And then they asked, is he a serial killer? Okay, so Robinson had been arrested a few days earlier, and many were shocked. He was the father of 4 children and a long-lasting marriage. He volunteered as a coach on his children's sports team, and even creepier, he taught Sunday school. Was a scoutmaster. But Robinson had a much darker side. For years, he had landed in and out of prison for fraud. Robinson was a con man who had no problem stealing from his employers, whether it was money or even postage stamps. But soon, Robinson would go from those types of crime to something much more dark and sinister, luring vulnerable women first under the lies of trying to help them get back onto their feet, and then later his online victims to his home in Kansas City. And for what was supposed to be a consensual BDSM relationship, but it turned into murder. John Robinson was born in 1943 in Cicero, Illinois. At the age of only 13, he worked to the rank of Eagle Scout with the Boy Scouts. And were you in Boy Scouts?
No.
See, I was in Boy Scouts. I hated these guys. Because it was supposed to be fun, and you'd always have a couple tools in your, in your Boy Scout troop who thought that the only thing you should be doing is getting merit badges every 5 seconds. And why? Anyway, so I always had my suspicions about these guys that got their Eagle Scout early. This case is going to absolutely make me think that my suspicions were correct.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Okay, so Robinson apparently loved to sing, so he flew to London to appear in a chorus of a popular variety Boy Scout act entitled The Gang Show back in 1957. A Chicago Tribune article stated, Robinson was picked, quote, because of his scholastic ability, scouting experience, and poise. The article went on to state, he sings too in the Holy Name Cathedral with the Quigley Choir. So Robinson was among 120 scouts on stage at the Palladium, but they were performed in front of Queen Elizabeth II. Now, even stranger, the article featured a picture of that 13-year-old John Robinson being kissed by, of all people, Judy Garland. We'll put that in the show notes if you want to see the picture. The article stated that Robinson said, we Americans have to stick together. And then Judy Garland supposedly kissed him on the forehead and said, that's right. Fortunately for Judy, she lived. Many others John Robinson met in the future would not be so lucky. Unlucky for us, since he was an Illinois guy, he moved here to Kansas City in 1964, where he got married to Nancy Jo Robinson. They would, have their wedding, raise 4 children, and seem to be living the idyllic suburban life. But then things began to go haywire. Robinson's crimes began with stealing money from his employer. In the late 1960s, he worked in the office of Dr. Wallace H. Graham, who was Harry Truman's personal physician. He worked as the office manager in Dr. Graham's office, but soon money disappeared from the doctor's account. An investigation showed the evidence that Robinson had stolen from his employer. He was convicted of embezzlement in August 1969 and sentenced to 3 years in probation. He next found work as a system analyst for the Kansas City office of Mobil Oil. In September of 1970, KCPD charged him with stealing 6,200 postage stamps from Mobil. Who mails that many letters? I mean, come on.
Is it a dead letter?
It was a dead letter, right? Once again, he just paid $372 in restitution and he was fired. But this disturbing pattern would continue. He moved back to Chicago and was arrested for, you guessed it, embezzlement. This time it was for over $5,000 from his employer, the R.R. Jones Corporation. Again, he pays restitution and the case was dismissed by the prosecutor. Unfortunately, he comes back here to Kansas City and he sets up his own company, quote, it was called Professional Services Association Incorporated, which he touted as a medical consulting firm. Robinson had a secretary on his staff, and one day he asked her to prepare letters for prospective clients that he was appointed to the Board of Regents for UMKC. Well, it turns out UMKC didn't even have a Board of Regents back then. I don't know if they do now, but back then they did not. And it was instantly ascertained that the signature of the dean on that document was forged. Oh. A federal grand jury returned a 4-count indictment for securities and mail fraud. As a crazy aside from this, and I often say, I think you agree too, Kansas City is the biggest small town on the planet.
Yeah.
Right? Even though we're over 2 million in the metro area, it feels like I'm constantly running into people that I know, but I know this is the same for you. Mm-hmm. So you think if you're trying to be, this criminal mastermind and perpetrating fraud, you might not try to utilize one of the biggest businesses out there in Kansas City with an owner who was known to everyone, but apparently not to John Robinson. As part of that letter, Robinson suggested that Marion Laboratories was negotiating with Robinson to buy his company and purchase $364,000 of training manuals. That letter was supposedly signed by a Marion executive, John E. Hartline, but the surname was misspelled on the letter. Whoops. A guy named Matt Cahal got that letter, but as it just happens, he was good friends with none other than Ewing Kaufman.
Oh, no, what?
Yep. He gets the letter in the mail, can tell that it's bogus immediately. Good friends with Ewing Kaufman, who, of course, if you know your history in Kansas City, he started and created Marion Labs. Yeah. And also owned the Kansas City Royals. That's why Kauffman Stadium is called Kauffman Stadium.
It's the Cape.
Apparently, Kaufman, well, they called him Mr. K too. Kaufman was so furious about this deceit, and a federal judge who heard the case agreed. Once again, Robinson was sentenced to 3 years probation and a $2,500 fine. Yeah, I don't know why this guy didn't go to jail a lot earlier.
What? Is this the third time and he just gets probation?
Every single time.
Wow.
It's almost like straight white men get the benefit of the doubt a lot.
Could be.
Okay. As we just discussed, he continues to get work and only goes on probation when he's caught. Granted, there was no internet back then, but all these trials and convictions were covered in the Kansas City newspapers. And remember, there was more than one Kansas City newspaper back then. Robinson got his next job as a business consultant for the family practice department at the KU Medical Center. As a fun aside, the guy who hired him was a guy named Jack Walker, who was not only the department chair, but was the mayor of Overland Park at the time. Again, Robinson totally conned Walker. Again, he was let go when it was found out that he had, quote, doubts of our financial affairs, which means, of course, he was stealing money. So Robinson pivots to a new con, a business of hydroponics. It was a Ponzi scheme. Robinson built people out of their money, including a couple where the wife was literally dying of cancer.
Oh,
yeah, he's a shameless piece of shit. I'm just gonna put that.
Let's just go with it. Yeah.
He even made up this might remind you of somebody, Greenwood. We're not going to say who it is, but everybody picture in your mind who this might remind you of. He made up his own quote unquote man of the year luncheon that he somehow conned a state senator to attend. It was all complete bullshit. He made all of it up. He even ordered his own plaque and forged a letter from the mayor's office.
Was he on the cover of Time?
Right? Sounds like somebody. Anyway, all right. Okay, he gets another job. Does no one check references? Does nobody check references? Apparently not. This time up in Liberty for Guy's Food, the potato chip company. He stole a $6,000 company check and put it into his own account, as you do. Again, he gets off lightly. He has to pay restitution and spend 100 days in Clay County Jail for quote unquote shock time. And this is the first time he went to jail, and 5 years of probation. At this point of the story, John Robinson is clearly damaged and has no problem stealing and lying, but he was not violent. But sadly, that was to change in the most horrific fashion. Okay, his first victim was 19-year-old Paula Godfrey of Overland Park.
Jeez.
Robinson supposedly hired Godfrey to be his sales representative for his consulting company. On September 1st, 1984, Robinson picked Godfrey up at her parents' home to drive her to the airport, and she has never been seen again. That was over 40 years ago.
Jeez. Robinson,
because he is a piece of shit, began to visit facilities that served struggling young mothers. Women who were also, they were already very vulnerable and needed help were now being preyed upon by a psychopath. His next victim was Lisa Stassi. Only 19 years old. She had a 5-month-old named Tiffany. Stassi apparently knew Robinson as, quote, Mr. Osborne, so he, part of the con, he's using an alias. He had convinced her that he was a businessman that could help her get her GED and a job, and he checked her into room 131 at the Overland Park Roadway Inn. And that's the last anybody heard of them. Stassi and her daughter disappeared into thin air. Her family filed a missing persons report. As part of that investigation, the FBI would get involved. Okay. Around the same time, Teresa L. Williams unfortunately met John Robinson. He sexually assaulted her at gunpoint, among other things, and she, to her credit, pressed charges. Upon hearing this, Robinson's probation officer, remember he'd been in and out of courts for years, moved to revoke his probation. The FBI would not let Williams appear for the deposition, however, concerned that Robinson's behavior, but Robinson would once again escape the clutches of the law. He appealed the decision of getting his revoked of his probation, and the Missouri Court of Appeals agreed. Since he could not confront his accuser, he would not have his probation revoked. This guy is a slimy snake, and he somehow got out of it.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, it doesn't make you feel real good about our justice system.
No.
Okay.
No, not at
but
all.
eventually some of his luck ran out. He was finally convicted and lost his appeals in Kansas for multiple fraud cases. He went to prison on May 18th, 1987. Sadly, this was too late for another female victim, Catherine Clampett. Clampett left Texas to escape from her history of substance abuse. She moved to Overland Park to live with her brother and sister-in-law, to help her stay on the straight and narrow. But guess who she got a job with? You guessed it. She disappeared on April 2nd, 1987, and also has never been seen or heard from again.
Oh, my God.
Being a master manipulator, Robinson was seen to be a model prisoner and even duped the prison psychiatrist. Their report stated, I'm going to read this twice because this is so awful. This is what the report stated. Quote, he is a docile, nonviolent individual who does not pose a threat to society. We recommend his immediate release on parole. Again, this is what someone who is paid to be an expert said about this man. He is, quote, a docile, nonviolent individual who does not pose a threat to society. We recommend his immediate release.
Grammy Award-winning violinist Joshua Bell returns to the San Francisco Symphony. Experience the power, precision, and passion of one of the world's great violinists. Hear Joshua Bell in Brahms' famed violin concerto with the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. That's Joshua Bell, March 1st at the San Francisco Symphony. Tickets at sfsymphony.org.
On parole. I don't know if they got fired. They certainly should have gotten fired. But he's a master manipulator, which, you know, when you see the pictures of this guy, you're going to be even more like, how? It just doesn't make sense. Okay. So he gets out of jail on Kansas, but fortunately the state of Missouri was ready for him. When he was released early in Kansas, he went to jail on the Missouri side for probation violations for the guy's food case. Remember when he was placed in prison in Moberly, Missouri. Unfortunately, that would lead to more deadly consequences. Robinson had a couple of light strokes, which would allow him to be moved to the Western Missouri Correctional Center in Cameron, where he would meet the prison librarian, Beverly Bonner. Now, Bonner was married to the prison's physician, no less. Robinson worked his evil charm on her. She divorced her husband, and upon Robinson's release in 1993, moved in with Robinson. Her family would never hear from her again after 1996. She told her family she was traveling abroad with Robinson. She gave a P.O. box that her ex-husband sent alimony checks to for years. Robinson continued to cash those checks. Beverly Bonner would be yet another of John Robinson's victims.
Good gravy.
Yeah, it's terrible. Then in the early 1990s, the beginning of the widespread use of the internet that we just talked about, Robinson had now another avenue for his evil deeds. According to later court testimony, Robinson had a daily routine. He would wait for his wife, Nancy. Remember, he's married with 4 kids, teaching in Sunday school. So he would wait for his wife, Nancy, to leave the office, and then he would spend hours on various online chat rooms looking for women who were interested in BDSM relationships. Incredibly, he found several willing victims. He would pay for their trips to come here to Kansas City. One of his victims was 21-year-old Isabella Lewicka, a 21-year-old Polish college student studying in Indiana. Isabella shared her online interest in gothic horror stories and bondage, something that a predator like Robinson, of course, picked up on immediately. He offered her what he called a quote-unquote internship as his slave. Barf. She accepted, told her parents that she was dropping out of college and moving to Kansas City. Okay, once she got here to Kansas City from Indiana, Robinson puts on the full charm offensive. He bought her an engagement ring, took her to the county registrar's office, paid for a marriage certificate. That certificate, though, would never be picked up. She assumed that they actually were married and signed a 115-page slave contract that gave Robinson full control of her life, including her bank accounts. Her parents soon lost all contact with her, and Isabella disappeared.
Wow.
Robinson was already keen on his next victim, 28-year-old Suzette Troughton. Troughton was a licensed practical nurse, but at night she apparently spent hours online in BDSM chat rooms. Robinson once again put on the charm. He assured Suzette he needed a full-time care for an elderly father and would pay handsomely for it. Of course, that's all lies. In 1999, Suzette shocked her family and friends that she was moving to pursue what she called her dream job. She did give her mother Robinson's name and telephone number in case of emergency. She sent a final email to a friend where she said, quote, "We all finally find what we want and need, and I found mine," unquote. Suzette's mother soon got letters purported to be from Suzette, but it raised suspicions. The letters were all without any grammatical errors. Apparently, Suzette was a terrible speller. And even though they were supposedly, traveling around the world from foreign locations, they were all postmarked from Kansas City. Suzette called the number provided because she was scared and worried. Robinson said no, she could not talk to her daughter. And in fact, that he claimed that Suzette had stolen money from him and run off with one of his friends. Then he hung up on her.
Oh, okay.
Just a charmer. What a charming man. Okay, so Suzette's mom didn't believe it, understandably, because it's all bullshit. She called the local police to file a police report. That set off alarm bells from law enforcement. They apparently had suspicions about Robinson, but no proof, and they hoped that this would be a break in the case.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's a really damning part of this next part of the story. According to the book True Crime Online by J.A. Hitchcock, and I, again, will put that in the show notes if you want to read that book, Lenexa police were in a motel room next to where John Robinson was beating and taking photos of women in compromising positions.
Oh, my God.
But they would not intervene. They reportedly allowed one victim to stay tied up for days and did nothing for fear that Robinson might be watching to see if she would try to escape. I want to be fair, though. This is the only mention of this in my research. I could not find this in any actual newspaper articles or any TV reports. I hope to God it's not true. I hope she got this, the author got this wrong, because if it is true, Lenexa PD, you've got a lot of explaining to do. This is absolutely unconscionable. Okay. This has been an extremely dark and horrifying episode. There has been literally nothing to lighten the mood so far, until now. So, Alex, guess how John Robinson was finally caught?
Grammy Award-winning violinist Joshua Bell returns to the San Francisco Symphony. Experience the power, precision, and passion of one of the world's great violinists. Hear Joshua Bell in Brahms' famed Violin Concerto with the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. That's Joshua Bell, March 1st at the San Francisco Symphony. Tickets at sfsymphony.org.
Well, true to our theme, it's usually even murderous criminals are usually kind of stupid. So did he do something really stupid or what?
Okay, so you know how he was finding these women on the internet, bring them into town. Supposedly it was supposed to be just, kinky sex, but it went way beyond that. One of the women who survived one of his awful sessions and beating, a woman named Vicky from Texas, she filed a police report against Robinson for sexual battery and for theft. And guess what he stole?
What?
Her sex toys.
Oh, my God.
That was some Steely Dan resolve to steal them.
Oh.
Had to do it. People don't know, but that's what Steely Dan's named after. That's what Steely Dan's named after.
Yep, but which is based what novel did they get that from? I'm trying to remember who wrote that.
I don't remember either, but that's a good point. So
look it up.
Look it up, folks. We do this live. Finally, and I do mean finally, June 2000, Robinson was arrested. Police had search warrants not only for his mobile home, another mobile home guy he was living in, but an area of land about 30 miles outside of Kansas City on the Kansas side. The cadaver dog sat in front of 55-gallon chemical drums and refused to move. Inside two different barrels, a body was found in each of them. The coroner made the positive ideas. It was Isabella and Suzette. But the horror was not over. Robinson also had storage units on the Missouri side. 3 more bodies were found in 3 barrels, including Beverly Bonner, the former nurse from prison who left her husband, the doctor, only to be tortured and murdered by this piece of shit. These autopsies would show that all the women had been killed by blunt force trauma to the head.
Oh, wow.
The trial began in late 2002. This is on the Kansas side for the murders, and he was convicted in early 2003 for those murders. If you really want to just be mad at the world, read the transcripts and what his attorneys said. I know everybody is entitled to the defense, but I would rather work at McDonald's than some of the bile that came out of his attorney's mouth. Anyway, okay. Missouri, of course, wants to try him too, right? Because these murders happened in Missouri. So Robinson and his attorney said they fight it hard. And the reason being is Missouri's a lot more fond of actually putting somebody in the death chamber and killing you.
Yeah.
I don't remember when the last time Kansas actually had a death. It's been a long time. They were aware of it. So this went on, negotiations back and forth for a long time. As part of those negotiations, he accepted guilty pleas for those murders on the Missouri side with life without any possibility of parole, but he would not be extradited to Missouri. So he sits in prison in El Dorado, Kansas. Or is it El Dorado?
I've heard Dorado.
Okay, El Dorado, Kansas. He's been on death row for over 20 years. So he is still alive. And then one final horrible epilogue. Do you remember Lisa Stassi, the young mother that disappeared?
The one from wait, where was she from? California, or
She just came. She was the one that she's only 19. She was in the halfway home for young mothers trying to get her life together, and he was supposedly was the volunteer.
okay?
Her body still has never been found. But what about her infant daughter? Right, she had a 5-month-old. This 5-month-old, turns out she was very much alive, but of course, being Robinson, it's a warped outcome. He literally sold that baby
Oh no.
to his brother for $5,000, and they made it into an adoption. Of course, that's illegal. It should not have ever happened. So this poor woman, she grew up as Heather Robinson. Think about this, without a clue about what happened to her actual birth mother, or the fact the man that she knew as quote unquote Uncle John murdered her own mother, and that she had lots of interactions with him. Absolutely chilling. Heather Robinson was actually Tiffany Stassi. I'll put in the show notes the interview she did on ABC's 2020 back in 2019. It's actually very fascinating and also very terrifying, but that it was even made. I think Lifetime made this into a TV movie. So, as you know, we always believe the focus of these stories should be on the victim.
Right.
So I want to end this episode by naming them all because I think it's important. Paula Godfrey was only 19 when she disappeared in 1984. Her body has never been found. Lisa Stassi, who we were just discussing, also only 19, disappeared in January 1985. Her body has never been found. Catherine Clampett was 27 when she disappeared in June 1987. Her body has still never been found. Beverly Bonner, that was the nurse she was 49 in 1993. Her body, of course, was found in one of those barrels. And then this is kind of weird, but I wanted to be fair. So we don't discuss kid murders on this. I hesitate bringing this up at all, but we need to honor their memories too. 45-year-old Sheila Faith disappeared in 1994. Her body was in one of those barrels. Her 15-year-old daughter was named Debbie. She had spina bifida and was in a wheelchair. Her body was found in the barrel next to her mom.
Oh,
just absolute pure evil. Isabella Lewecka, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. My apologies if I'm not, was 21 when she disappeared in 1999. Her body was found in a barrel. And Suzette Troughton was 27 when she disappeared in March 2000. And of course, her body was found in a barrel. And now, according to authorities, Robinson refuses to disclose what happened to those that have never been found. He is the embodiment of pure evil. Authorities believe that there certainly could be even more victims that they are not even aware of. And I wish I could make this funny. I wish I could be glib about any of this. Wish we had not. This is the third serial killer that we have focused on here in Kansas City alone. I wish that I could, some people always like, there's always some good in everybody. There's a good in everybody. There's some good in everybody. There is no good in this man. I will just leave it there. So.
Yeah, there's not. I mean, so the guy, this is a guy he's a predator, obviously, who weaponized the fledgling internet to be his hunting ground. And I just Googled just to get a look at him.
Yeah,
not even like what you'd call a charming. Ted Bundy was very good looking.
Yep.
You could
had a law degree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, he actually, I'm looking at him, one of his booking photos from 1985 mugshot. He looks remarkably to me, or at least has the same type of look as John Wayne Gacy. He's got this kind of doughy, strangely normal face. And of course, and I, whatever floats your boat on sex and all that, but I understand that it's a kink thing, and but even so, I just look at this guy and I'm like, what? I, it doesn't work. I don't understand. I guess I feel a little dumb here because you warned me this one was going to be something different. And there's a couple of things that are just like, one, it's the banality of evil, right? Look at this guy. He's just a banal looking, he looks like a shipping clerk. And, but we all know very well about the banality of evil. But the other thing is how he kept getting away with stuff for so long. And like you've already alluded to, well, that was society then, and to a degree, probably still the same now. My tough part about this too is, and I have to be very careful not to go too deep into this in my own head, but is just imagining the last moments of these women. It busts me up. And then you tell me that 15-year-old daughter who was confined to a wheelchair was also obviously murdered. And their final moments I can't even, it just busts me up.
It is horrifying. It's awful. I don't know if there's a hell or not. If there is a hell, this guy's burning. Preying on the most. I hate bullies in any fashion or form. Preying on people who are very vulnerable, preying on people, whether it's Lisa Stassi or some of the who are just trying to get their life together. When you're that young, we all make mistakes. We don't, what she had her whole life in front of her, and to be this much of a thing, all that. And I'm with you too. Like, I don't really care behind closed doors what consenting adults do. But when it gets violent, then I do care. These are horrible. I did not, I looked at the transcripts of the trial. This took me a long time to do because it was so upsetting and just awful that I couldn't do it at long periods of time. But I wanted to talk about it because it's important. And I think this is a cautionary tale. And you wish it wasn't. I wish but I'm sure you did. I did this with my boys when they're growing up. I was like, do not meet anybody you talk to on the internet. Do never do it. You don't know who these people are. You can't trust these people. Even these women, and apparently the jury had to sit through. He videotaped talking to these women as they were tied up and having them, because he's a sick fuck. I'm just gonna say it. Talking about how he's their slave master and all this stuff. What they had thought was maybe just fun and stuff. It went horribly wrong, and I, for the life of me, don't. Whoever you are, whatever age you are, whatever sex you are, whatever you are, don't do this. Because he can't be the only one. There's other evil people out there that will do evil things, and it's just sad. So. Like I said, I really debated whether to do this or not, but I thought if nothing else, it is a cautionary tale to be very careful. It's never the victim's fault. I want to be sure that we put that. It's never the victim's fault. But you just have to be careful. You can't, when my dad was a kid in high school and college, he used to hitchhike everywhere because that was standard. We know now, don't hitchhike. And you did a case about a guy, the truck driver that killed a bunch of people that were hitchhiking. Just be careful. And I said, sad we live in a world where you can't instantly trust people, but be very wary of people, especially people offering you great jobs or trips or vacations or stuff. It's most likely not on the up and up, and it could end, as it has in these cases, horribly. So,
yeah, I drive, on my way to Oklahoma, I drive past El Dorado, and it's remarkable because there's this, area that was flooded, and all these trees jut up out of the water on either side of the highway. And it's just creepy looking place, and then you consider the fact that mere minutes from that spot in the road, this guy is rotting in a cell somewhere. I'm not a death penalty advocate. I don't believe in the death penalty. But man, oh man, guys like this make me rethink that quite a bit.
I kind of wish he would get the Al Swearingen treatment. That's what I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, there is that. There is that. Yeah.
Because at first it's like the Seth, we're deadwooding people.
Yes.
New term, deadwooding. We're
deadwooding.
I
like that.
Like, yeah, you can, it'll be Seth Bullock and the Otis. And it's like, I don't even think the Seth Bullock Otis beating is enough for this guy. I think we need to go full Al Swearingen up and, Johnny and the guys have to clean the floor up after it's over. So,
Yeah.
a reference. Watch
You know, this picture I found of him today. Oh my gosh! If you go to the Wikipedia, there's a picture of him, at the prison, and he's just got. I mean, this guy, if you didn't know, you'd think he was like a guy who played Santa Claus on the weekends in December or something. He just has this somewhat kindly face,
Imagine if you entrusted this guy to be your kid's scoutmaster or to be your kid's Sunday school teacher or whatever. The wife is an interesting thing. I wanted to talk a little bit about that because she claimed she knew nothing about it. And I find that a little hard to believe. I know that we had the Tylenol murders person and his wife was never charged with anything. To own these separate properties, to be this secretive, to be spending hours on the internet, that he is introducing this Isabella woman as his fiance to friends.
Mm-hmm.
I find this very hard. That I'm wondering if it's like a Jackie Kennedy thing where she just didn't want to ask any of these hard questions. I'm hoping that is as bad as it is, but it does make you wonder. And I'm going to say this finally as we wrap up, and then we can be lighthearted again. This is damning to our police. This is damning to our prosecutors. This is damning across the board. And yes, this guy, the fact that he skated multiple times with just probation, a slap on the wrist at that, it does not look good. I said, I hope to God the Lenexa police part is not accurate. Because if that's accurate, not only should those individuals, and now I know it's 25 years ago, they're probably all retired anyway, they should have been fired. And I would have even said that they should have been prosecuted because that's just unconscionable. You can't let anybody be tied up and be beaten and just sit there. I don't care what the case is. It just made my blood boil when I read that. And like I said, I only found it in this woman's book. I should probably have written her an email and asked her for her source from my journalism background, but I didn't. But I hoped that's not. But yes, John Robinson should have gone to prison a lot earlier for a lot longer, long before he switched. And, lastly, what made him switch? Because, a swindler, they're annoying and they're a pain in the ass. But it's kind of like the Tylenol murder guy. He was a swindler first. What flips the switch in these psychopaths' head where they go from just swindling money, stealing, that they not only do they have no problem murdering, they're clearly addicted to it. I mean, that's what a serial killer is. Serial killers continue to kill until they're caught. Who knows? I mean, we should have a psychologist or a psychiatrist on sometime and talk about this because I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Some of the reading I've done is that a lot of serial killers think they're really smart and they can easily dehumanize their victims by almost thinking of them as animals, because they're not, quote, very smart, unquote. That's not, obviously, I'm not a criminologist or psychologist, but I have done some reading where it seems like a theme with a lot of them. They think they're very smart, and they are very good at dehumanizing their victims.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's all I can think of, but this is just the worst kind of creature.
Yeah.
These people, just the worst.
All right. So to lighten the mood substantially.
Can we though? Is it possible?
We're going to leave this case and talk. No, this is always going to be horrible. Like I said, it kept me up at nights thinking about it. We are in talks. Nice little segue. After this is so stressful. Doesn't a massage sound really nice? Like right now, get like a shoulder massage, just something, kind of anyway. So there is a massage place here in town called the Speakeasy Wellness Spa. So this is our kind of joint. I have been going there for quite a while, and Felicity, who is my masseuse, she's fabulous and does a good job. We are most likely going to be doing a holiday event with them at the Speak. And this place is cool. Look it up on the internet if you have not. It's got hidden doors. It just looks like you walk in and it's a bookcase there, but actually the bookcases are hidden doors that go back into the treatment rooms and stuff. So Alex and I are we'll give you the date when we have it, but we are going to be doing, we're both going to make a holiday cocktail. We're going to answer questions while you're there. You'll be able to get a, chair massage and meet.
Not from us.
Not from us. No, from actual licensed massage therapist. When we have more deets on that, we will do that. Don't forget also about our November event. That's in the show notes. And I think, Alex, we have not discussed this, but I think you and I, since we know what this episode is going to be and what it's about, maybe each of us come up with a cocktail that we think kind of encapsulates Los Angeles?
I've only been to LA twice, I think, and I didn't spend a lot of time there, but I'll do my best.
Yeah, just like, I was even thinking maybe it's LA Confidential. Maybe that movie should be our kind of the thing that we take off of that or something. But I have been to LA way too many times.
Mm.
LA, and I have lots of friends in LA, so stand down. You don't want anybody else living there. Your traffic already sucks. When you can get to the west side of the 405 and you're actually by the beach, like that, I have friends in Santa Monica. That's lovely. But spending my life in my car, which you can speak to, doesn't make me happy. Traffic doesn't make me happy. Waiting in the line doesn't make me happy.
Yeah.
I'm fine visiting Los Angeles, but I would never live there. So,
well, I have an ex who lives there, and she's an actress. She's been on several TV shows, and she just loves it. It's everything. Everything I don't want is in a place to live, but she loves it. And I've got another friend who's an actress who also but I think she's to your point, she's getting to the point, I think, in her life where she's like, maybe not retire here. It's so expensive there too.
Oh my gosh. That's
and Hollywood, quote Hollywood, the business sadly is dying. And I think AI, by the way, I know we're not talking about all this right now, but I think AI is going to absolutely be the last nail in the coffin of the film industry in California. I really do.
It's because I want to talk about lighter things.
Yeah.
About this case anymore. I want to never talk about this case again. One of the things that I know you know this because of my day job. I had an event at Boulevard Drive-In.
Yes.
For electric vehicles and stuff. And I'm going to try to make this a short story. But I had this great idea because actually electric vehicles came out before internal combustion engines. They were actually there. So I really wanted to make this event. I was going to call it Back to the Future to EVs and talk.
Right.
And I even had a guy who has taken a DeLorean. He's up in Wisconsin. He retrofitted a DeLorean and made it all electric. He was going to be there. I was like, this is going to be this, you've done events. You're like, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to get, we're going to have a DeLorean there. We're going to have all this stuff. We're going to make it like an 80s theme. We're going to do stuff. So if you do this, folks, and even with the movie theater and the Boulevard Drive-In people were excellent to deal with. If you want to have an event there, I highly recommend it. They were really good to work with. You have to get rights to the movie too. So you don't only pay for the, rental of the theater itself. You have to pay for the rights of the movie being shown. And you have to get the rights to the movie being shown. So I stupidly thinking a 40-year-old movie that I've seen on TBS, I don't know, 5,000 times flipping through. I mean, it's been everywhere. I mean, we were in high school when this movie was released. This was a long time ago. And Hollywood would not, under any circumstance, they would not give me the rights to watch. I would pay for it. No, wasn't interested. I said, hey, let's do something together. No, not interested. I have a friend who works in PR out in Los Angeles. Hello, Wendy. Wendy went to high school with somebody who's a big, and it's Universal, which is a whole another ball of wax. They own NBC and a bunch of other stuff. She's a vice president there. I got her email, sent her a note, let her know. No, I'm not going to do it. So back to your thing of like Hollywood's dying. This to me is a perfect example of how Hollywood's just dying, that they are keeping things like there is nobody, they're not going to make any money off of Back to the Future in 2025. They did tell me that maybe if I could wait until I think October 18th was when he supposedly went back in time. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen the movie. Maybe we could have the event in November. And I was like, Kansas City, a drive-in? What are you? You're just anyway. So yeah, I feel like Hollywood is dying. I feel that the big TV stations are dying. And nobody under 40 watches anything on TV except for live sports. And if YouTube and the rest of them take over the NFL and stuff like that, that's it. They're done.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, by the way, Back to the Future today is October 21st, just FYI. Yeah. Some people will be driving around going, shit, when is that? So there, you're welcome. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a big change. But, these blockbuster movies, these think about the Marvel Avenger type movies. There's so much CGI in it. AI is going to be at a point, I think, where, and it's not original to me to think this. There's several people I've heard say this. They're like, how you watch the credits for a Marvel movie and it takes like 20 years.
Yep.
that's like 3,000 people or something. They're going to be able to make these movies with fewer than 100 people, I think. And by the way, this is not me saying, oh, I welcome this and our new AI overlords. I'm just saying I think that's the way it's going to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either. All right. So thanks so much for listening. I will try to be much lighthearted, more lighthearted in future episodes. So,
hey, Jamie, excellent job, by the way. Just a tough one, though. And I feel for you. I'm just going to tell you right now, I am not going to go read deeper on this one. I just can't. But I appreciate you bringing it to our attention. And God bless those women who suffered. God bless them.
So next time, again, in the show notes, join us at the Rainy Day Books event on November 3rd. Eli Frankel, again, Sisters in Death is the name of the book. You can purchase that ahead of time. He will sign it once you're there. Alex and I both have copies of it. I'm actually about halfway through it.
I've started it.
We'll be done soon. So.
Let's remember, everybody, if you go to killingcitypod.com, if you scroll down, there is always a calendar of live events and public appearances. And I'll be updating. By the time you see this will be updated and it'll have the details. That way you don't have to go hunting around too much.
Absolutely. So on that note, happy Halloween, everyone. Have a great Halloween thing. We will see you hopefully tomorrow. If you are listening to this at the day they drop, October 16th, be a part of us at the live Savoy event. Alex. And I will be in Command Central because I am a wuss, but we already knew that. And then we will see you on November 3rd. And then November 15th, it will be all about this book. We will drop that episode then. Until then, people, be safe. Don't get on the internet.
Grammy Award-winning violinist Joshua Bell returns to the San Francisco Symphony. Experience the power, precision, and passion of one of the world's great violinists. Hear Joshua Bell in Brahms' famed Violin Concerto with the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. That's Joshua Bell, March 1st at the San Francisco Symphony. Tickets at sfsymphony.org.